Sunlight creeps through the curtains as 68-year-old Linda ties her sneakers. It's barely 7 a.m., but she's already headed out the door for her morning walk. Down the street, her friend Robert is brewing green tea and slicing up a grapefruit to go with his oatmeal. Across town, however, their peer Gary is still in bed at 10 a.m., waking groggy after skipping breakfast again. Fast forward 10 years. Linda and Robert are still sharp, chatty, active, remembering little details, while Gary struggles with early Alzheimer's symptoms. What made the difference? A big part of it comes down to morning habits. It might sound surprising, but emerging science shows that how seniors spend their mornings can have a profound effect on brain health and even help prevent Alzheimer's disease. This isn't magic or hype. These are proven activities that act like investments in your cognitive future. Imagine starting each day with simple actions that effectively armor your brain against memory loss. Intriguing, right? Let's explore the morning routine that could keep you mentally clear for years to come. Morning is the brain's reset time. After a night of sleep, your brain is like a sponge ready to absorb and a body ready to activate. Think of morning habits as the tone setter for your entire day's brain chemistry. A positive, active morning can lead to better mood, better circulation, and better memory encoding all day. Conversely, a sluggish, disorganized morning can leave you playing catch-up with your brain's needs. The stakes are high for seniors. Consistent healthy mornings have been linked with lower risk of cognitive decline, while poor morning habits, like inactivity or skipping meals, have been associated with higher risk of memory problems. If you feel your mornings don't really matter, it's time to rethink that notion. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly should I do each morning? The answer isn't one size fits all, but science points to a few powerful morning activities that anyone can adapt. Let's break them down, weaving in Linda and Robert's example along with research that backs up their routines. Number 1. Start with movement. Walk your way sharp. Linda's first habit is her morning walk, and it's perhaps the most powerful of all. Physical exercise in the morning is like a wake-up call for the brain. When Linda strolls through her neighborhood, her heart rate increases a bit, pumping blood and oxygen upstairs to her brain. This nourishes her neurons. Over time, something astonishing happens. Exercise actually spurs the growth of new brain cells and connections, particularly in the memory center, hippocampus. Don't just take my word for it. Studies have shown that even moderate walking can make a huge difference. In one study, people who walked around 3,800 steps each day, roughly 2 miles, were 25% less likely to develop dementia. More impressively, those who managed about 5 miles a day cut their risk by over 50%. While 5 miles might be a lot for some, the key is some walking is far better than none. Another piece of research found that just 45 minutes of walking 3 times a week actually increase brain volume in older adults. Imagine that, your brain physically growing in response to your feet moving. When you exercise in the morning, you also trigger the release of beneficial brain chemicals like BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often dubbed fertilizer for the brain. It sets you up for quicker thinking and better mood during the day. Linda finds that her morning walks clear the mental cobwebs. She often solves yesterday's crossword puzzle clues while strolling or remembers to pay a bill that slipped her mind earlier. It's as if the movement jogs her memory literally and figuratively. For you, morning movement can be tailored to your ability. It could be a gentle walk like Linda's, some light stretches or yoga, or even chair exercises if mobility is an issue. The critical part is consistency. Think of it as taking your brain for a walk. Not feeling motivated? Find a walking buddy, perhaps a neighbor or a dog that eagerly needs to go out. The accountability helps. If weather is bad, walking inside a mall or doing a walking-in-place video can substitute. The goal is to get your blood flowing. Number 2. Brain gym. Morning mental stretches. Right after his simple breakfast, Robert sits by the window with his green tea and challenges himself to a quick brain game. Sometimes it's Wordle or a crossword. Other times he'll try to memorize the phone numbers of his grandkids or recite a poem from memory. This habit is like a warm-up for his mind. Engaging in a mentally stimulating activity first thing primes your brain for plasticity, the ability to form new connections. It doesn't have to be long. Even 10 to 15 minutes of a puzzle, reading an article, or writing in a journal can activate neural circuits. Research supports lifelong learning as a shield against Alzheimer's. Seniors who engage in cognitive exercises regularly tend to have better memory. In one famous study, older adults who did just 10 hours of brain training, memory exercises, problem-solving tasks, had improved cognitive function even 5 years later compared to those who didn't. Starting your day with a brain teaser of some sort is akin to flexing your cognitive muscles. It sends a message. We're going to use this brain today, so gear up. Robert enjoys learning, so he often reads a few pages of a nonfiction book about history each morning. It gives him something to ponder and discuss later. Social interaction plus mental stimulation equals double win. Sometimes he listens to a short music piece and tries to remember the lyrics. The specifics can vary. The key is engaging focus and curiosity. Think of it as playtime for your brain. It should be enjoyable, not a chore. If you love Sudoku, do that. If you prefer drawing or coloring, which can be meditative and mentally engaging, go for it. The idea is to break the autopilot of morning and introduce a bit of a cognitive challenge. It's like doing a crossword for your neurons, which may help slow down the accumulation of Alzheimer's pathology by keeping neural pathways robust. Number 3. A nutritious breakfast. Fuel for thought. Meanwhile, both Linda and Robert never skip their morning meal, and what they eat is crucial. Linda opts for oatmeal topped with blueberries and walnuts, plus a side of yogurt. Robert goes for whole grain toast with avocado and a boiled egg. These foods aren't just filling their stomachs, they're feeding their brains. Eating a healthy breakfast has been proven to benefit cognitive performance and, over the long run, may protect against dementia. On the flip side, skipping breakfast regularly can be risky. A recent study in 2024 found that older adults who habitually skip breakfast had a greater decline in cognitive function over time and even showed biomarkers of brain degeneration. In fact, those breakfast skippers ended up with lower brain volume on MRI scans after several years. Yikes. It turns out the morning fast, after the overnight fast, might stress the body in a way that isn't brain-friendly, possibly increasing cortisol or depriving the brain of early nutrients when it needs them. By eating in the morning, you replenish glucose levels in a stable way, which is the primary energy source for the brain. But not all breakfasts are equal. Linda and Robert choose foods shown to boost brain health. Berries, rich in antioxidants that protect brain cells. Nuts, with healthy fats and vitamin E for brain protection. Whole grains, which provide steady glucose and B vitamins. And protein, eggs or yogurt, containing amino acids like choline that support neurotransmitters. Even a cup of green tea gives a mild caffeine boost, plus L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes calm alertness. If coffee is your choice, that's fine too, just not too much sugar in it. Some studies associate coffee intake with lower Alzheimer's risk, potentially due to antioxidants. The takeaway is, don't run on empty. A well-fed brain can think more clearly and form memories better. If you're not a big breakfast eater, try at least having a nutrient-packed smoothie: spinach, banana, almond butter, berries, or a piece of fruit with some nuts. It doesn't need to be heavy, just balanced. Consider including one brain superfood in your morning meal, such as blueberries, sometimes called brain berries by scientists for their memory benefits, or walnuts, which even look like tiny brains and contain omega-3s. These choices over years create an internal environment rich in vitamins and low in oxidative stress, which is thought to slow down the progression of cognitive decline. Number 4. Sunlight and fresh air. Nature's morning medicine. After her walk, Linda sits on a bench for a few minutes, soaking in the morning sun and doing some deep breathing. It feels good emotionally, but it's also physiologically beneficial. Morning sunlight hitting your eyes helps regulate your circadian rhythm, which improves sleep quality at night, and we know good sleep helps prevent Alzheimer's by clearing brain waste like beta amyloid. Additionally, sunlight helps the body produce vitamin D, often called the sunshine vitamin, which is important for brain function. Low levels of vitamin D in seniors have been linked to cognitive impairment. By getting 10 to 15 minutes of sun, Linda is potentially warding off a deficiency. Fresh air and a few deep breaths can also reduce stress hormones. Morning nature exposure, even just listening to birds or seeing trees, has a calming effect, lowering blood pressure and cortisol. Lower stress equals healthier brain. If you have a garden, spend a few minutes there each morning. If you live in an apartment, even opening the window and doing breathing exercises can help. Some seniors join outdoor Tai Chi or yoga classes in the morning, combining movement, fresh air, and often social interaction, a triple boost. Such mind-body exercises are shown to improve cognitive function and mood in older adults. Moreover, if you can align your sleep schedule to wake up with natural light, it's beneficial. Going outside soon after waking anchors your body clock, telling you, this is daytime, be alert now, and be ready to sleep in about 14 to 16 hours. This can improve the depth of sleep you get the following night, which, as mentioned, is critical for memory consolidation and amyloid clearance. Deep sleep is when the brain's lymphatic system washes away toxins associated with Alzheimer's. So in a way, a dose of morning sun helps fight Alzheimer's at night. Number 5. Mindful practice or meditation. Stress-proof your brain. Robert swears by a 10-minute meditation he does after breakfast. He sits quietly, focuses on his breath or a mantra, and when thoughts intrude, he gently brings his attention back. How could this possibly affect Alzheimer's risk? Well, chronic stress and anxiety are bad for the brain, contributing to inflammation and memory problems. Mindfulness and meditation are proven to reduce stress and even can physically change the brain. MRI studies show regular meditators have increased gray matter in regions involved in memory and attention. One study even found that an 8-week mindfulness program reduced feelings of loneliness in older adults and lowered inflammatory markers. Morning is a great time for mindfulness because it sets a calm tone for the day. Even prayer or quiet reflection can serve a similar purpose if that suits you better. The idea is to start the day with a centered mind, not a frazzled one. Linda, for instance, might combine her bench time with gratitude, thinking of 3 things she's thankful for while feeling the morning breeze. This positive mindset has been linked to better health outcomes and could indirectly protect the brain by reducing stress and depression, which are risk factors for cognitive decline. If you think you can't meditate, remember it's not about emptying the mind completely. It's about training attention and acceptance. There are many guided meditation apps tailored for seniors that last 5 to 10 minutes. You can literally sit in your armchair, play one, and follow along. Over time, you might notice you're less reactive to daily annoyances and have a clearer head. That clarity can translate to remembering names or tasks better because your brain isn't as clouded by anxiety. Number 6. Plan and purpose. Set an intention for the day. Another underrated but powerful morning activity is simply setting a plan or intention for your day. This could be done in a little journal or just mentally while sipping your coffee. Linda likes to write down her top 3 things to do for the day. Robert recites a positive affirmation. Today I will learn something new. Or, I will call my daughter this afternoon. How does this help the brain? Having structure and purpose stimulates the executive function part of your brain. It engages planning and organizational circuits. Studies have found that seniors with a strong sense of purpose tend to have better cognitive health and even a lower incidence of Alzheimer's. Purpose might be as simple as tend the garden or attend choir practice, whatever gives you a sense of meaning. When you map out your day in the morning, you also create little goals and anticipation, which can give dopamine rewards as you accomplish them. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a role in motivation and learning. Keeping those pathways humming is beneficial. Additionally, an active, purpose-driven day leaves less room for sedentary time or depressive rumination, which can harm cognition. So, in the morning, ask yourself, what am I looking forward to today? And if the answer is nothing, that's a sign to infuse your life with some activities. Join a club, volunteer, start a hobby project. It's never too late. Perhaps you'll decide, like Robert, to learn something new. He recently began learning Spanish through an app each morning for 15 minutes. It's a small chunk of his day, but it gives him a goal. I want to order a meal in Spanish by summer, and exercises his memory with vocabulary. Learning new things is highly protective against cognitive decline because it forms new brain connections. Morning, when your mind is fresh, can be an ideal time to do that learning. Maybe it's practicing a few phrases on a language app, or learning a new knitting pattern, or even learning to use a new piece of technology. Seniors who embrace tech tend to keep mentally active and socially connected, which is great for the brain. We've touched on studies throughout, but let's highlight a couple of persuasive findings that tie these morning habits to Alzheimer's prevention directly. Researchers following older adults found that those who had consistent, healthy morning routines, exercise plus breakfast, performed better on cognitive tests and had lower levels of Alzheimer's-related proteins in their spinal fluid. It suggests their brains were aging more gracefully, possibly because their lifestyle was helping with amyloid clearance and reducing inflammation. A study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease reported that seniors who engaged in at least 5 out of 7 days of morning exercise and mental activities had significantly slower memory decline over 10 years compared to those who spent mornings inactive. Essentially, each day you win your morning by being active and engaged is a deposit in your long-term memory bank. As mentioned, a 2024 study in Journal of Neurorestoratology found skipping breakfast was associated with more brain atrophy and cognitive decline. Conversely, those who regularly ate breakfast had more stable cognitive scores. This gives scientific heft to the old saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, at least for your brain. Even household chores done in the morning, like making your bed, cooking, light cleaning, have been noted in research to correlate with better brain health. One NPR report highlighted that simple tasks like chopping food, as shown in the image above, can count as enough exercise to protect the brain. In other words, staying active and purposeful in the morning, even through chores, is better than sitting idle. All these data points converge on a simple truth. An active body plus active mind plus good nutrition, especially in the morning, equals a more resilient brain. It sets the stage for an entire day that challenges the brain in positive ways, rather than leaving it understimulated or undernourished. The beautiful thing about cultivating these morning habits is how they ripple out to the rest of your life. Linda's morning walk turned into meeting 2 other ladies in the neighborhood. Now they've formed a little walking group. Social plus exercise check. Robert's morning brain games gave him confidence to join a weekly bridge club, providing social interaction and continued mental challenge. Their healthy breakfasts have improved their overall nutrition, which helped their energy and even blood pressure, which is another factor in dementia risk. Controlling blood pressure helps protect the brain's small vessels. Their mindfulness practices made them more relaxed, likely contributing to better sleep and fewer mood swings. Each morning act is like a brick in the fortress defending their brains. And by reinforcing these habits daily, they've built routines that require little decision-making effort. It's just a part of life. When something is routine, you're more likely to keep it up even when motivation is low on a given day. For example, on a rainy day, Linda might not feel like walking outside, but perhaps she'll walk laps in the local mall because her day doesn't feel right without that walk. It's become second nature. Now, not everyone is a morning person. You might be thinking, I'm stiff in the morning, or I feel grumpy and slow at 7 a.m. That's okay. You can ease into these habits. Start by picking just 1 or 2 morning activities that appeal to you. Maybe begin with the breakfast habit if nothing else. That alone will give you energy to try other things. Or if you can only do 5 minutes of gentle stretching in bed to start, do that. The key is consistency. You may find that doing one healthy thing in the morning makes you feel a bit better, which encourages you to do more. Also, adapt to your schedule. Morning doesn't have to be dawn. If you wake at 9 a.m., your morning routine can be 9 to 10 a.m. Just ensure you're not waking at noon regularly, as that likely means you're not getting morning light and you might be up too late at night. Aim for a routine that syncs roughly with daylight hours for maximum benefit. Now pause and reflect. What does your current morning routine look like? Are there any of the activities we discussed that you already do? Perhaps you've been a lifelong breakfast eater, or you never miss church on Sunday mornings, which gives you social and spiritual engagement. Or are there ones you realize you've been neglecting? Maybe you've grown sedentary or started skipping breakfast in retirement. Share in the comments one morning habit you want to start or strengthen. Maybe you'll commit to a 10-minute walk or finally trying out that yoga class. Declaring it could help you stick to it. Plus, others might get inspired by your idea. For example, if you comment, I plan to begin each day watering my garden and doing a short prayer of gratitude, someone else might think, what a lovely idea, I'll try that too. If you already have a fulfilling morning routine, please share it. What do you do, and how has it helped you? Your personal story could paint a motivating picture for others. Mornings are more than just a time of day, they're a foundation. By infusing your mornings with activity, nourishment, and purpose, you're essentially telling your brain, I care about you. Over weeks and months, these small actions compound, much like saving a little money every day grows wealth. Here, you're growing cognitive wealth. You might not see the dollars, but you'll notice the dividends. Remembering appointments, feeling upbeat, learning new things with less effort, and perhaps decades later, avoiding the heartbreaking confusion that Alzheimer's brings. Imagine looking back 10 or 20 years from now and realizing that the morning walks you took, the puzzles you solved, the breakfasts you savored with fruit and nuts, all added up to a healthier mind. Those are years you keep your independence, know your loved ones' faces and names, and continue to enjoy life's rich details. That is priceless. It's normal to feel a twinge of regret if you haven't been doing these things, but the past is past. The wonderful thing about the brain is its ability to improve at any age when given the right environment. So, start tomorrow. Treat tomorrow's sunrise as an invitation to protect your brain. As the light pours in, maybe take a deep breath and say, today, I'm doing something good for my mind. And then do it. You have the power each morning to write a little piece of your brain's future story. Make it a good one. Are you ready to try these morning activities? Which one will you begin with? What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. Your future self might just thank you for it, with a clear mind and a treasure trove of memories intact.